So that means this is the last one we have like this. We're going to do it, video Skyped. You should absolutely do that.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I could say thank you all for being here, but you all are not here because the coronavirus outbreak has really dictated our lives these days and what's going on in society with social distancing and trying to reduce the amount of coronavirus spread. It's no different here in the town of Carmel. So this is probably the first meeting in the history of the town of Carmel where the public hasn't been invited, where actually they're closed out of the meeting. They're prevented from being here with us because of, we want to reduce the spread of this horrible virus that we're all have been dealing with lately. It's really changed the course of society these days, and the county and the state and everyone is trying to deal with it as best we can. I need to turn my mic on, that'll help. So, all right, so before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and Councilman Lombardi, would you lead us, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'm going to ask us to remain standing. Usually I ask for a moment of silence to remember those men and women who are fighting around the world to protect our freedom. I'm also, in addition to them, I'm going to ask a moment of silence to remember the sacrifices that are being made by doctors, nurses, policemen, firemen, first responders at this time in really protecting our town, protecting our county, protecting our state and our country at this time of this virus. But I know with the help of those individuals and the help of our community, we will get through this together.
Okay, thanks, Frank. Okay, once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For the record, all board members are present with the exception of Councilwoman McDonough, who couldn't be with us this evening. She's actually feeling a little under the weather, and so she couldn't be with us. Our town clerk, Ann Spofford's here, all the way down to my right. Ann, thanks for being here. And all the way down to my left is Greg Fulchetti. He's our Carmel Town Council. And tonight's meeting is a voting meeting, and the date's Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. There's 25 resolutions on for tonight's meeting. And if you missed the notification that went out, because the public wasn't permitted to be here this evening, because the building is closed, if you would like to send any questions in pertaining to the agenda items only, if you have a question with respect to an item we covered tonight, we'll allow you to submit your question to the town board online. So if you go to the Town of Carmel website, www.carmelny.org, there's a link there for questions to the town board regarding any agenda items that we covered this evening. You'll be able to do that the way you normally would be able to do it here if you were present, but we're going to allow them, in this particular case, to be done on the internet, online. Okay. So the first item is to accept the town board minutes of March 4th, 2020. I need a motion to accept those.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi.
Seconded by Councilman.
Did you second?
Second also.
Seconded by Councilman Channel and Councilman Borelli. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next resolution, number 1, is a resolution making an appointment of a police officer in the Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Channel, would you read resolution number 1, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of the Town of Carmel Police Department, hereby appoints James Zaccone to the position of Police Officer in the Town of Carmel Police Department, effective March 25th, 2020, at an annual salary of $62,586 on a probationary basis, subject to the provisions of civil service law and civil service rules and regulations. I offer this motion as read.
Okay, I'll second it. Roll call vote?
Councilman Channel.
Yes, without reservation.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes, with the added note that this is the first time we're swearing in a police officer, right? But he's not here because we're closed to the public.
Right,
Starts the 25th.
yeah, he's going to be sworn in
He is gonna-
on the
we moved
25th.
it?
Yeah,
Good.
the ceremony will be on the 25th.
Good young man with a
Yeah.
family. Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye, with pleasure.
And Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, with pleasure. Just a little bit about our newest police officer, James Zaccone. He's currently a police detective in the city of Newburgh. So we're getting a police officer that has a high level of training as a detective up in the city of Newburgh. And he comes to us highly recommended. He was sworn in March of 2016 up in Newburgh, and he rose to the rank of detective pretty quickly. So that says a lot about the young gentleman, the police officer, that he was able to attain that rank, in a short 3 years as a police officer. Usually it takes a lot longer than that. So I'm sure his work ethic and his training is the reason why he was promoted that quickly. Graduate of the University of Phoenix, Bachelor of Science, Criminal Justice Administration, 2012 to February of 2016. So he's a really good asset to Newburgh, but he's coming to the town of Carmel now, and he's going to continue to do a great job as a police officer protecting the residents and business owners in Carmel. He'll be sworn in here on March 25th. So our next town board meeting, he'll be here with his family, and we'll do the ceremonial swearing in. So we did the roll call on that, right, Ann?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that was Resolution 1. I'm going to actually read resolutions because there's 25 of them. So I'm reading Resolution Number 2. It's a resolution making an appointment to the Environmental Conservation Board. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby reappoints Robert Laga to the Town of Carmel Environmental Conservation Board commencing June 14, 2020, and concluding June 13, 2023. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Bob Laga has been on our Conservation Board for many years now, and he's done a great job, not only as a board member, but the chairman of the Environmental Conservation Board as well. So this is with pleasure that we're reappointing Bob. So Frank, resolution number 3, authorizing settlement of litigation. Councilman Lombardi, would you read that?
Sure. Whereas there is currently pending in Supreme Court, Putnam County, State of New York, under index numbers 500548 of 2017, 500789 of 2018, and 501187 of 2019, certain lawsuits entitled Centennial Golf Club of New York LLC versus the Town of Carmel, Town Board of the Town of Carmel, and the Board of Assessment Review of the Town of Carmel. In regards to recreation, the assessment of certain, in regard to the assessment of certain real property known as, designated as Carmel tax maps 44-2-2.1, 44-2-2.2, 442-3.1, 442-3.2, 442-4.1, and 44-2-4.2 on the 2017, 2018, and 2019 tax rolls. And whereas the proposed settlement of the litigation has been negotiated by Glenn Drosy, Town Assessor, and Special Counsel Greg Fulchetti, who have recommended approval of the proposed settlement, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the settlement of the aforementioned litigation and any other open litigation concerning the assessment of the aforesaid real property as recommended. And be it further resolved, the Town Council Greg Fulchetti is hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the Town of Carmel the stipulation of settlement and corresponding consent judgment reflecting the terms of settlement. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, Resolution 4 is a resolution accepting a proposal for professional grant writing services. Councilman Borelli, would you read 4?
With pleasure on this one, because we actually just got another email from a Carmel resident asking why we don't get grants and why we don't get grants. But this company, we interviewed, great interview, and we think our future's going to change with grants. Hopefully, we'll see. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts the proposal of Millennium Strategies LLC, Morrison, New Jersey, for grant writing services for the Town of Carmel at a cost not to exceed $36,000 annually. Be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation reasonably necessary to effectuate the purchase authorized hereunder. And be it further resolved that Town Controller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes. Just to piggyback off of Councilman Borelli, just for a couple of minutes, or actually less than that. This company, you know, when we interviewed them, and we looked at their background, and we looked at the municipalities that they have serviced in the past and that they have contracts with, they've been very successful in obtaining grant funding for municipalities. So we felt that was something that, you know, we were extremely encouraged by. This town is going to be undertaking major expenses up in the Hamlin and Carbon.
Water
Bob,
District 2.
Up in Water District
Absolutely.
2. So this company is going to aggressively seek grant funding, whatever's out there and may be available to the town of Carmel for our projects. This company is going to apply for funding for it. And their track record is really great. They've been very successful, even with municipalities that have a higher wealth than the town of Carmel. They've been very successful.
And thank Councilman
Yeah.
Channel, because they work for the town of Harrison.
Harrison, they were highly recommended by the town controller of Harrison, Maureen McKenzie. Just on a fluke, I ran into her, and she couldn't speak highly. I used to do work with grants with her a lot in Harrison, and I was trying to pick her brain, and she's like, we don't do them anymore. We hired an outside source and recommended their name, and they presented us with a spectacular presentation. They were right on cue, right on track to what we need. And we also spoke to a couple other grant writing firms, but they were more than what we needed, and their services were a bit different. So this was the best fit for us, and I think it's going to really work out great for the residents.
Yeah, I think it is too, Bob. And shortly after Bob was elected, you know, that one of the things that I tasked him with was researching grant funding opportunities for the town of Carmel and firms that apply for grants. And Bob did a great job. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
You know, you really hit the ground running. And it wasn't just this firm that he looked at other firms as well. And, you know, the consensus was that Millennium is going to be the right fit, the appropriate fit for the town of Carmel.
Yeah, and
So-
considering what's happening in our history today, there's going to be need for grants, not just for the water districts, but perhaps for businesses and other things in our town because of what's transpiring today, so.
Yeah, good point, Frank.
Hopefully they
Yeah,
can,
you're
you know,
right.
hit the ground running for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they will.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so next resolution, resolution number 5, is a resolution authorizing submission of a grant disbursement agreement to the New York State Dormitory Authority State Municipal Facilities Program, ID 23681. This is a $50,000 grant that is being appropriated by Assemblyman Kevin Byrne. And Councilman Shannon, would you please read 5?
Yes. Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes the execution and submission of the grant disbursement application/agreement for New York State Municipal Facilities Program Project ID number 23681 for the water tank and storage facilities. Said agreement to be in form as is on file in the office of the town supervisor, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, and are hereby authorized to execute the grant disbursement application in accordance with the provisions thereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
All right, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. And once again, I'd like to thank Assemblyman Kevin Byrne for going ahead and initiating this $50,000 funding. And it's actually going to be for the Hamlin and Carmel, Bob. This is going towards the water storage tanks. So the water storage tanks have $50,000 already that's been appropriated for the replacement and rehabilitation of those tanks. So thank you once again, Assemblyman Byrne. Great job, as always, with the town of Carmel residents.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution authorizing Chief of Police Mike Kazari to proceed with the purchase of police vehicles. Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes Chief Mike Kazari to proceed with the purchase of 3 new 2020 Dodge Charger all-wheel drive police vehicles at a cost not to exceed $38,914.38 for each vehicle from Robert Green Truck Division, Rock Hill, New York, under the Onondaga County number 8771 statewide piggyback bid pursuant to General Municipal Law 103-16, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Chief Mike Kazari to proceed with the purchase as well as one new 2020 Jeep Cherokee at a cost not to exceed $28,430.93 from Robert Green Truck Division, Rock Hill, New York, under Onondaga 8771 statewide piggyback bid pursuant to General Municipal Law 103-16, and be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents to purchase said vehicles from Robert Green Truck Division in accordance with the bid contract quotations dated March 4th, 2020, and be it further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget revisions to effect the aforesaid purchase transactions authorized herein. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Channel. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. So we've been doing a really good job with fleet replacement for vehicles, not only with the police department, but with the highway department also. So this is the town board's continuing initiative and effort, along with Police Chief Mike Kazari, to replace our vehicles as necessary. And we've done a really good job with that, because there was a time here when town boards weren't approving funding for the police department or the highway department for new vehicles. And what happens if you delay the purchasing of vehicles annually, eventually it's going to catch up to you, and you're going to have to purchase 6 or 8 of them at one time. And the other issue is with the police department is officer safety as well. You want them in a good vehicle that's mechanically sound, and you want to keep them safe. So
Absolutely.
having new vehicles and turning fleets over is really important, and we're going to continue to do that. And that holds true for the highway department as well. We've been purchasing new trucks for them and equipment every year annually. So that's been going really well.
And equipment will be auctioned?
Yes, the old equipment, the equipment that comes offline that these vehicles are replacing, go to auction.
All right, great.
You declare them obsolete.
Then we declare them obsolete and they
Eligible for
auction.
auction.
Yeah, the highway department actually just auctioned off an old Mack dump truck, and I think we got almost $4,000 for it. It was a rust bucket, the wheels were falling off of it, the cab was rusting through, but he got a lot of money for it, so. All right. I don't want to go on long because I'm getting the eye from Councilman Borelli. Get the stinky eye?
We have 25.
Oh, stink eye,
We
yeah.
have 25?
Okay, all right. So, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution authorizing purchase of live scan system to Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 7?
Resolve the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Chief of Police Michael Kazari, hereby approves the purchase of New York RCI-CAPS TPE live scan stream system for criminalistic information sharing services in the Town of Carmel Police Department for IDEMIA, Identity and Security USA, LLC, Anaheim, Connecticut, at an initial cost not to exceed $22,100 in accordance with the proposal dated May 30th, 2019. And be it further resolved that platform subscription in the amount of $900 annually, maintenance on-site response and part replacement services in an annual amount not to exceed $4,160 are authorized in connection with this purchase. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor Ken Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any and all necessary documentation necessary to effectuate this authorization. And be it further resolved that the cost of this authorization shall be offset by the award of a grant in the sum of $10,000 received from the New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services. And be it further resolved that Town Controller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget revisions in effect to the aforesaid purchase transaction authorized herein. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call?
Councilman Channel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution is a resolution accepting a proposal for the purchase of ammunition for the Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Borelli, would you read 8?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Chief of Police Michael Kazari, hereby accepts the proposal of Eagle Point Gun, T.J. Morris and Son Distributors, Thoroughfare, New Jersey, for the purchase of ammunition for the Town of Carmel Police Department in an amount not to exceed $19,246.48 under New York State Office of General Services contract bid number PC 68734. And be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation reasonably necessary to effectuate the purchase authorized hereunder. Be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 9, is a resolution authorizing award of bid for bus transportation for the 2020 summer camp program for Carmel Parks and Recreation. Councilman Shannell, would you read number 9, please?
Absolutely. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously authorized advertisement for the solicitation of bids for bus transportation for the 2020 summer camp program administered by the Town of Carmel Department of Recreation and Parks, as requested by Director of Parks and Recreation James R. Gilchrist, and whereas such bids were received and opened on February 27, 2020, and a bid opening memo is on file with the Town Clerk Ann Spofford, and now therefore be resolved that upon the recommendation of James R. Gilchrist, the Town Board hereby awards the aforesaid bid to Bauman and Sons Buses Incorporated, located in Ronkonkoma, New York, the low responsive bidder meeting specifications for all bus trips scheduled by the Recreation and Parks Department for summer 2020. Be it further resolved that upon review of insurance certificates in form acceptable to the Town Council, Kenneth Schmidt, Town Supervisor, is hereby authorized to execute any and other further documentation necessary to accept such bid and contract for said services. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Shannell, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 10, is a resolution awarding a bid for sewer jetting services for Carmel Sewer Districts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and its contract C-263. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously authorized advertisement for the solicitation of bids for sewer jetting services for the various Carmel Sewer District collection systems. And whereas such bids were received and opened on February 28, 2020, and now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the various Carmel Sewer Districts, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, hereby awards the bids for the said services to TAM Enterprises of Goshen, New York, the low responsible bidder, meeting specifications for years 2020 and 2021 at a total overall cost of of a cost not to exceed $176,396. And be it further resolved that the Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to allocate the cost of said services among the respective sewer districts as provided by and paid for to said vendor, as well as to make any and all necessary budget revisions to effect the aforesaid purchase and transactions authorized herein. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
A second.
Seconded by Councilman Borelli and Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 11, is a resolution accepting a proposal for fish survey services for Lake Mahopac Park District. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 11?
Sure. Resolve the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the Lake Mahopac Park District, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorize the acceptance of the proposal of Northeast Aquatic Services LLC, Mansfield Center, Connecticut, for fish survey services on Lake Mahopac at an overall cost not to exceed $16,000. And be it further resolved that the cost authorized herein may be chargeable as a district expense to the Lake Mahopac Park District. And be it further resolved that upon the presentation of insurance certificates in form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor is hereby authorized to execute any and all necessary contract documentation to effect acceptance of the proposal upon terms of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 12, is a resolution authorizing entry into advance payments agreements with the New York State DOT. Councilman Borelli, would you read 12?
Yes, but before I read it, these are for all the people that have asked me, when is the shovel going to go in the ground in the middle of Mayapack? These are the parts of the puzzle that have to be done before we start. And this is the one with the DOT, but we're getting there. It's going to be close. Whereas the New York State Department of Transportation, in connection with New York State DOT permit number 8812.04.221, has filed acquisition maps for the condemnation acquisition easements over 4 parcels of land owned by the town of Carmel, which are both located on New York State Route 6 and Mayapack, as shown on acquisition maps for said pin, as numbered and labeled, maps 101, 102, 105, 106, 111, 112, 115, and 116. And whereas New York State DOT has offered the aggregate sum of $23,075 to be paid to the town of Carmel for advance compensation in connection with these easement acquisitions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes entry into 4 advance payment agreements for initial acceptance of the sum aggregates, for the sum aggregate sum of $23,075 as compensation for said easement acquisitions, subject to the option of the town board to claim additional future compensation. And be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute said advance payment agreements for said easement acquisitions, said agreements to be in form and substance as in on file in the office of the town supervisor. I offer this resolution as read. And this is part of the downtown drainage and the light reconfiguration and the sidewalks between Mayapack National Bank and our park.
You second it? Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Shannon. Roll call vote?
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Okay, next resolution, 13, is a resolution authorizing entry into agreement with Putnam County Department of Real Property Tax Services. Councilman Shannon, would you read 13?
Whereas appropriations have been made in the 2019 town budget for entry into various contracts for the provision of various services to the town of Carmel, and whereas said contracts are on file in the office of the town supervisor for the inspection and review of all town board members.
Oh,
So we have a mistake.
yeah, we do. We
it's
just
here.
amend the year
To 2020.
from 2019
Excuse
to
me.
2020. Thanks, Ann. As amended, Bob?
As amended, the year is, whereas appropriations have been made in the 2020, not 2019 town budget. Let me correct myself, and I'll continue where I left off. Whereas said contracts are on file in the office of the town supervisor for the inspection and review of all town board members. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby authorizes town supervisor Kenneth Schmidt to enter into and execute on behalf of the town the contract with the Putnam County Department of Real Property Tax Services for preparation on the tentative assessment roll for year 2020.
2020.
Should read. In form as attached hereto and made a part thereof. I offer this resolution as read.
As read and amended.
And amended.
Okay, perfect. All right, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote?
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 14, is a resolution authorizing settlement of litigation. Whereas there is currently pending in the Supreme Court, Putnam County, New York, the state of New York, under index numbers 501-752/2019, a certain lawsuit entitled Town of Carmel versus Roger Knoll et al. Pursuant to Town Law 268. And whereas the proposed settlement of litigation has been negotiated by Town Council Gregory L. Fulchetti, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the settlement of the aforementioned litigation in accordance with the terms of the stipulation and order of settlement presented to the Town Board herein, in a copy of which is on file in the office of the Town Supervisor, and be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt and Town Council Gregory L. Fulchetti are each hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the Town of Carmel the stipulation of settlement and corresponding consent judgment reflecting the terms of the settlement. I offer the resolution as read.
I second it.
Seconded by Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
And Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 15, is a resolution waiving planning and zoning review fees for the Carmel Volunteer Fire Department. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 15?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the waiver of all planning board, zoning board, and related other site plan-related review fees otherwise required on the Town Code of the Town of Carmel, including but not limited to Chapter 131 and Chapter 156, in connection with the site plan application for the Carmel Volunteer Fire Department at 94 Glenida Avenue, Town of Carmel, New York. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, with pleasure. Okay, next resolution, number 16, is a resolution waiving the notice of requirement in Section 64 of the New York State Alcohol Beverage Control Law with respect to a liquor license for Sayonara, not Sayonara, Sonorita Corporation, DBA Tijuana Mexican Grill and Bar. Sorry. Councilman Borelli, would you read that?
Sure. Whereas the representatives and/or proprietors of Sonorita Corp., doing business as Tijuana Mexican Grill Bar, 376 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, have advised of the intention to apply for an on-premises liquor license, for which 30 days advance notice of such application must be sent to the municipality. Whereas the notice required by Article 5 of the Alcohol Beverage Control Law may be waived by the Town Board. And whereas the Town of Carmel Board does not intend to comment upon the application referred to herein. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby waives the 30-day notice requirement contained in Article 5 of the Alcoholic and Beverage Control Law and states that it does not intend to offer any comments regarding said application for a liquor license at the premises referred to herein, and be it further resolved that Town Clerk Ann Spofford is hereby authorized to sign a waiver of said notice on behalf of the Town of Carmel. We offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli.
Oh, me? My turn? Yes.
Oh, wait, no,
Just,
hold on.
Here.
Wait, what happened?
What?
it's wrong on the resolution.
Oh, it is, yes, yeah, I see that.
Hold on.
There,
All right.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
What the?
Oh, wait, hold on.
17 is too.
All right, so let's
All right.
start again. Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. 17, the next one too.
Thank you.
All right.
That's me.
Okay. 17 is a resolution accepting and authorizing donation of improvements at Airport Park. This is from the Mahopac Sports Association to the Town of Carmel Parks and Recreation.
For the building.
For the building, it's the new, the building they're donating
Right.
and constructing.
With volunteers.
Yes, all volunteers, at no cost to the town.
It's going to be great.
Yeah,
Another great
thank you.
addition to our parks.
Yeah.
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts the donation of all materials and services from Mahopac Sports Association required for the delivery, construction, and installation of a 50-foot by 60-foot support building at Airport Park in the Town of Carmel. And be it further resolved that said donation is accepted upon the representation set forth in the correspondence dated February 24th, 2020, from Mahopac Sports Association concerning New York State labor law and the rules, regulations, and requirements of New York State Department of Labor with respect to the construction and said improvements, a copy of which is on file in the office of the Town Supervisor and the Town of Carmel Engineers Department. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in the form acceptable to Town Council from all contractors involved in the aforesaid improvements, said improvements may be immediately commenced. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
I'll second that too. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
I have to say something that's about as politically incorrect as can be, but I don't care. I'm voting yes on it. But I'm bothered by something. It's great. MSA is basically giving $300,000 to build a building for Airport Park. I feel that that's the town board's job. It could be bonded right now at almost next to nothing. And the reason why I feel that way is because, as you know, I donate my salary, and my son-in-law tells me who to give it to. And I had a request about a couple months ago, I forget when it was, for a couple $1,000s for some kids that couldn't afford to play soccer. And my question is, you know, why are we saving $300,000? Maybe the 2 1/4 or 1 1/4 or 3 1/4 that we're charging each kid should be lowered. And that leads me into, you know, shoot me, I'm gonna get it tomorrow. Fire departments, other departments that build a nest egg. And we're giving them money to perform a function, and they're building a nest egg. And I think it takes away from the original job that these organizations should do. And I'm very thankful for it. $300,000, big money, great. Like I said, though, if they asked us, I would have been the first one to say, let's borrow the money and get it done. And the $300,000 that MSA has in the savings account kind of makes it like a political tool, MSA. It's like a political organization. And I just think it should get back to the roots of the kids. And if some soccer kids can't afford to play because it's $250, maybe the fee's too high. I'm voting yes.
Okay, and Counsel Lombardi,
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, and I'd like to thank MSA and the whole organization, the directors, the members, for this generous donation of this building that's going to be up at the airport park. They are paying for the building and paying for the construction of the building as well. So I would just like to, extend my appreciation to them and thank you so much. It has saved the taxpayers of the town of Carmel money by them donating it and constructing it. So it's definitely worthy of a thank you to that organization for the town of Carmel.
I
and the
also
whole
vote
tax.
yes.
Thanks so much.
You got to me.
Did I miss you?
You might have. I vote yes also.
What were we saying?
No, you voted yes
Oh,
before,
okay, okay.
because you went first, and then
Okay,
Mike.
for the record.
Who's up now? All right. We did the roll call on
Yes.
this, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so Councilman Shannell, you read 17 already, though. You read that, right?
Yes.
That's the one we just read. So I'm up.
Right.
Okay.
Want me to paraphrase this, or?
Yeah, could you please?
Okay, last week, the town board had conducted 2 public hearings on the Lake Cassie Park District and the Tea Kettle Park District dam rehabilitation projects that are regulatorily mandated by the New York State DEC. The public hearings were both closed. Resolution number 18 pertains to Lake Cassie, and basically, this is an order determining that the project is in fact in the interest, in the public interest, to go forward with the rehabilitation project, and it is a condition precedent and a predicate to doing the bond resolution, which is next. So if you want to adopt number 18, or move to adopt number 18 as paraphrased by council and pre-filed, you can do that.
Greg, can you summarize all the next 4?
I'll do- I was going to do them one at a time.
You need to do them one at a time?
Just because they're
That's
district
fine.
borrowing,
Okay,
I think that's a smart thing to do.
Gotcha.
So how much of this do you want me to read?
None.
You don't have
You
to-
can just adopt, you can move as,
Just to move it? Okay.
as council stated and as pre-filed.
Okay, I move to adopt the resolution, authorize the resolution as council stated and as pre-filed in the office of the town clerk.
I'll second.
I offer the resolution.
I'll second.
Councilman Shannell seconds it. Roll call vote?
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Councilman Lombardi, would you read number 19, please? And I'm going to defer to council on this one as well.
Okay. So the second part of the Lake Cassie determinations for tonight, after the adoption of the public interest order that the board just passed, is a borrowing resolution authorizing $228,206 in bonds, a maximum of that amount in bonds to issue for the Lake Cassie Dam Rehabilitation Project, and that the period of usefulness for the dams is 30 years, and you can adopt that as restated by council and as pre-filed with the town clerk, or move to adopt it, I should say.
I move to adopt as described by council.
And as pre-filed with the town
As
clerk.
I'm sorry, it is pre-filed with town clerk.
Okay, roll call vote.
Need
Second.
a second.
I'll second it.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 20, is a public interest order in the matter of the increase and improvement of facilities of the Lake Tea Kettle Park in the town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York. It's a park district. Councilman Borelli.
Can I defer to
You
council
defer
also?
to, defer to council.
Okay, so we are doing them one at a time, and this goes back to last week's public hearing that was conducted on the increase in the improvement of the facilities of the Lake Tea Kettle Park District. The two dams there will be rehabilitated per regulatory mandate of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. The plans have been done. The projects are out to bid. They cannot be awarded till the funding is in place. And this is a public interest order determining that that project and that rehabilitation is in fact in the public interest to go forward with the project and the bonding. So if Councilman Borelli wants to move to adopt resolution as stated by council and as pre-filed with the town clerk.
I move to accept resolution as stated by council as pre-filed with the town clerk.
Very good.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi, roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next one, number 21, resolution authorizing the issuance of $157,206 in bonds of the town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York, to pay the cost of the increase and improvement of the facilities of the Lake Tea Kettle Park District in the town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York. Councilman Shannell, this would be yours, but...
I would like to
but
defer the
to-
resolution to town council
Okay, thank you.
for explanation.
Again, second part of the Lake Tea Kettle process for the regulatorily mandated improvement and rehabilitation of the dams. This is a bond resolution authorizing the issuance of a maximum of $157,206 in bonds for that purpose, for Lake Tea Kettle, for those two dams. So if Councilman Shannell wishes to adopt, or to move to adopt this resolution as restated by council, as pre-filed with the town clerk, you can do that.
I would like to offer this resolution as stated by town council and pre-filed with the town clerk.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Borelli, roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried, thank you. Okay, next, resolution 22 is a resolution authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of $750,000 in bonds of the town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York, to pay the cost of road construction and resurfacing throughout and in for said town. I'm going to defer to council on this one as well.
Okay, so these are borrowing resolutions as well, but because they are townwide borrowing and not special districts, they do not require a public hearing, but they are subject to permissive referendum. So the next three pertain to the highway budget. Number 22, for Supervisor Schmidt, is for the issuance of a maximum of $750,000 in bonds for road resurfacing and repaving. And that is authorized to a maximum amount of $750,000 as stated, and it is subject to permissive referendum, meaning the notice of the adoption, if it's passed, will be published in official papers, and the estoppel period will run in 20 days after that, and then you can go out, you can authorize the funding. So do you want to offer that, or as? You should do each one separately, okay. I'd like to do them all three as well.
Okay, all right.
So you can move to adopt that as stated by council and as pre-filed.
What he said. It's stated,
Good. What he said is
it's stated by council
And it's
and
pre-filed with-
pre-filed with the office of the town clerk. I offer the resolution as such.
A second.
Seconded by Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi and Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes. That was a yes too, right? Both of us said yes. Okay.
Okay.
Motion carried. All right, next one, number 23, authorizing subject to permissive referendum the purchase of maintenance vehicles for the Highway Department in and for the town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $500,000, and authorizing the issuance of $500,000 in bonds for said town to pay for the cost thereof. Councilman Lombardi?
Actually, is this Councilman Borelli's or yours? Okay. All right.
It's Lombardi's.
Okay. This is, again, a townwide borrowing authorization. I'll read the whole thing, just whatever you want me to do.
You didn't defer.
If he wants to do it. It's a townwide borrowing up to $500,000 maximum on the issuance of bonds of the town of Carmel to pay for equipment for the highway department for this budget year. And that's the maximum amount of borrowing that's authorized pursuant to Section 8100 of the local finance law. And again, it is subject to permissive referendum. So you can move to adopt as stated by council and as pre-filed. Councilman Lombardi?
Move this resolution as described by council and pre-filed.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote?
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, 24, is a resolution authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, construction of drainage improvements throughout and in and for the town of Carmel by the Town of Carmel Highway Department, Putnam County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $200,000, and authorizing the issuance of $200,000 in bonds for said town to pay for the cost thereof. Councilman Borelli.
I defer to council.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, last one on the highway budget borrowing for the 2020 budget year. This is a maximum authorization of $200,000 in bonds for the purpose of drainage improvements for budget year 2020. Again, no public hearing, but it is subject to a permissive referendum. So if Councilman Borelli wants to move to adopt the resolution number 24 as stated by council and pre-filed with the town clerk, that'll work.
I got it.
You lost me. There's too many words.
You got it, right? Okay.
Got it?
What he said, right?
I got what he said.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, the 25th and final resolution is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a stipulation changing salary group of engineering projects coordinator. Councilman Shannon, would you read 25, please?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel, town hereby authorizes the town supervisor to sign a stipulation of agreement effective March 18, 2020. Engineering projects coordinator Robert Vara, employee number 1112, shall be placed at step 4 of salary group 15, as specified in Agenda E of the collective bargaining agreement between the town and Local 840, CSEA, AFC, CME, AFL-CIO, that expired on December 31st, 2017, and was modified and extended by a memorandum of agreement with a duration of January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2021, parentheses, the CBA. I offer this resolution as read.
Okay. Be a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote?
Councilman Channel.
Yes, I did some interviewing and researching. I wasn't familiar with the different pay grades and the job description that Mr. Vera had been doing. I took some time out today, a pretty good lane to speak to a number of people, and I would like to vote yes on this based on recommendations from this town supervisor, town council, and other people.
Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Councilman Borelli.
Should have been done 10 years ago. Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, and let me just state that Mr. Vara has been employed by the town of Carmel for 31 years. He's got a tremendous amount of institutional knowledge that goes a long way. He really does. He's got 2 degrees, and his duties and responsibilities over the years have increased. They've changed from when he was first appointed or promoted to Engineer Projects Coordinator back in 2006-7 timeframe. He does a tremendous amount of work for the town. Anything that he's tasked with doing or responsible for, he carries it out in a very thorough manner. And I work with him day in and day out. I'm here full-time. I know what he does. I know what he's capable of doing. I know what knowledge he has, and it's pretty vast as far as the town goes. He's very familiar with our water and sewer districts, extremely familiar with that. and he's very helpful when it comes to just about anything that you may need him for. If he's asked to do it, he always carries it out and he gets it done in a very thorough manner. So because of that, I'm in agreement that his group should be changing from the current Group 13 to Group 15. If we're going to ask him to do more and expect him to do more, he should be compensated for that as well. He's helped Greg Fulchetti, our town council, on matters that, because of his background and because he does have a law degree, he's been very helpful to council on matters that we're moving forward with, that council has been asked to move forward with for the town of Carmel. Mr. Vara has been putting in a lot of time and effort and a lot of hours on weekends and in the evenings, and he's not billing the town for it. He's just doing it as part of his salary and his responsibilities. So if we were to have to pay for a second attorney to assist counselor on the DEP matters, it would cost us double what we're paying him to do it. So, and so therefore, you know.
And I agree 100%. I was just talking to Councilman Borelli, and he's been a tremendous help, and really a lot of time spent on the Water 2 rate proceeding since last February, when we got involved in that with the City Water Board and up in the downstate and the upstate communities, Scarsdale, Westchester Joint Water Works. There's a petition pending. There's an appeal pending regarding Lake Oneida, and I probably couldn't quantify the number of hours that he's put in, and many of them have either been in the evenings or on weekends at my office. So he's really done a lot of work on that. He's done a great job as well. So.
Yeah. And he hasn't billed the town for that. In other words, he hasn't put in for overtime for that. I know he hasn't.
Not to my knowledge.
I know he hasn't. So we appreciate what he does and his efforts in assisting you in that litigation. So thank you. Anybody else have anything else on that? You said something, right? Yeah? Okay. All right. All right. So that concludes the town board voting meeting for this evening. It was 25 agenda items. We went through them fairly quickly. If I talked less, we probably could have been out of here 20 minutes ago.
You're here.
But that's what I do. You know, I try to give as much information to the public as I can on agenda items. But yeah, so that concludes that. Since the public's not here tonight, I don't have to ask the question about, does anybody want to comment on agenda items that we just covered? You could do it via email tomorrow or tonight. The link is on the Town of Carmel website. You can go to that. If you have any questions, please keep your questions clean. No negative comments, and make sure the question is specific to the agenda items, and I promise you we'll get back to you with an answer on that. Open forum, we could dispense with that because there's nobody here again. And I do have a couple of announcements that I'd like to make quick, and then I'm going to acknowledge Frank Lombardi. So the Town of Carmel Recreation and Parks Department annual egg hunt. Our annual egg hunt scheduled for Saturday, March 28th, 2020 has been canceled and will be rescheduled for a later date. That's unfortunate because that's a really fun time with the families and the children collecting the eggs out on the field at the high school. For more information, you can visit the website at www.carmelny.org/recreation or follow us on Facebook at the Carmel Recreation Department. I talked to Jimmy Gilchrist about this, our rec director. I really conveyed to him that we need to get this in. If we can get it in, he's got 6,000 eggs over at the Recreation Department that they filled for the Easter egg hunt, that we really need to get rid of those and get them out of the building. So we're going to try to get this in. All right, hopefully we'll get beyond where we currently are presently with the coronavirus outbreak, and we can get to the point where we can start having these events again. Also, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee open meeting at Sycamore Park, Long Pond Road, Mahopac, scheduled for Thursday, April 2nd, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. has been postponed until Thursday, May 7th at 7:30 p.m. So they postponed the advisory committee meeting that was scheduled for the 2nd. It's been rescheduled to May 7th. For additional information, you can call the rec department at 628-7888. That's all I have. I'm going to turn the floor over to Councilman Lombardi right now. He's going to speak a little bit about the coronavirus outbreak and the efforts that the town of Carmel is making to try to assist in that. And I'd just like the residents to know that about a week and a half ago, maybe longer than that, when we knew that this coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak was going to, take hold in the area, in the state of New York, and it was predicted that it was going to spread across the entire state, and it wasn't going to skip Putnam County, even though thankfully we only have two confirmed cases in Putnam County that were lab tested and confirmed. I designated Frank Lombardi, Councilman Lombardi, as the liaison for the school districts for Putnam County Health Department, and Putnam County agencies as the liaison for the town of Carmel to help coordinate the effort between the county school district and also the state. So Councilman Lombardi has accepted that, and he's been doing a great job with that thus far. He's on a conference call every morning with myself at 10:30 with the health department, and they update us on the status of what's going on in Putnam County with respect to their efforts to control the outbreak. So I'm going to turn the floor over to
Ken?
Councilman Lombardi, and he can speak on this a little bit more.
I want to add in a couple other things,
Yeah.
okay? I don't think anybody realizes, well, I'm quite sure everybody realizes what we're going through now because nothing's normal. But everything in this building has changed, everything in the town has changed. He's not just doing a conference call every morning with the supervisor. He's basically in charge of all the changes that have been done around here. And the amount of meetings he's having and the amount of phone calls and emails he takes, I know are affecting his life and his business. So I just want to thank him because I know how much time he's putting in. And I've seen the emails, and I've had people talk to me. And I just think the public should be aware of that. This man is really putting his time there for the taxpayers of the town. Thanks, Frank.
I'd like to agree with that also. I think Frank was a great choice to be the liaison, and he's doing a wonderful job, and he's really on top of everything that's going on.
And it's getting harder on a daily basis.
I just want to say, number one, I appreciate the confidence that the supervisor put in me on this. This is not something that we've done alone, and unfortunately, I wish we didn't have to do it, all right? But we do, and so thank you for that confidence. I've had the benefit of having, of course, my brother and sister-in-law, both physicians, and my brother is in touch with the State Department of Health on a daily basis based on his position at the hospital. So I get some information from him. There were emails and articles that he sent to me that I've distributed to the
Great.
board from the Washington Post. So what we've had to do basically is, since the supervisor asked me to coordinate this effort, I've reached out to several county legislators. I reached out to Assemblyman Burns, who I consider a dear friend, and others, and we've had conference calls each and every morning with the county. There's several elected officials on that line from the towns, including the supervisor, and we've done that every morning. And to date, forget about rumors. The only thing that we know for sure is that there are two confirmed here in Putnam County. Where they are, it doesn't really make a difference what town they're in. So what we started to do was to worry about how do we protect the employees of the town of Carmel, and how do we protect the residents of the town of Carmel who come into contact with us here in this building. So in speaking with the supervisor on early Monday morning, we had a staff meeting of the entire building, and what we had decided to do was to protect our employees on that side of the building and their offices. We designated a meeting room here in the meeting room. We divided it in half, and we have our wonderful, wonderful security officer, Mike, who's interacting with the residents who come in here and ask them what they need, and then we have a department person from each department come to address the issue with our residents. We are government. We still need to conduct business on behalf of the people. They still pay us to do what we have to do, and we're responsible for it. Government's not going to close, and I don't anticipate that happening because we are the link between the public and information that they obtain. So that worked out very, very well from day one, and I know was part of it. And a couple of things I wanted to tell people. Listen, right now, if you're coming in for a dog license, please don't worry about it. I'm not really joking. It's very true. Things that are not germane or really, really that important, don't come into the building because we can wait. in speaking to the tax assessor, the same thing, tax department, same thing, the tax receiver, if you have a problem, give us a call. They'll put your bill on hold for 30 days, interest-free, and we're not going to worry about it until we're all done with this. So that was Monday's project, and we had a staff meeting in here with 50, 60 people. Highway Superintendent Simone was also present. So the next day, we had decided that what we were going to do is to try to limit the staff in the building, and while we were having this meeting with the department heads, the governor declared that we had to cut everything by 50%, the staff in the building, which we were about to do anyway. So that worked out well, so we have, and the supervisor said it many times, the governor wanted us to cut essential personnel or non-essential personnel. My feeling, and I think the feeling of for the taxpayers of our town. So we have, we left it up to the department heads to formulate a schedule for the employees. It was approved by the supervisor, and we have that in place now. So we have department heads here in the building for the most part, each and every time. We gave certain employees access to our database through working from home on the computer. To be paid, we're doing the work of the taxpayers, we're doing what they ask us to do. The supervisor and I are on conference calls every morning with the Department of Health, with Putnam County. We will do that again tomorrow morning. They send us at the end of each night an update that all town board members get. So that's basically where we are. Again, the protection of our employees, the protection of our public is important to us all. That's germane in going through. The only way we're going to bring this to a plateau and start numbers coming down is limiting contact with the outside, with people. I mean, it's unfortunate, a couple of weeks ago, we were slapping high fives to people on the parade route, and now, we can't socialize. But we'll get through this, we'll get through it together. We're making smart decisions. The town board is making smart decisions. We're putting things in place, and I know that the highway department, Highway Superintendent Simone, has a 1 week on, 1 week off with his employees, so he's got 17 on 1 week, 17 the next week. And if there are any issues, everybody's on call, so nobody's going away, nobody's going on vacation. Everybody's on call. Based on the state of emergency, business as usual is no longer business as usual. So there's no job classifications, all that kind of is out the window right now. We are all in this together, where everyone is pitching in to make sure that government continues to operate for the taxpayers. So again, I wanted to thank you for your confidence in me and in handling this task.
No, you're welcome. You're doing a great job, Frank.
Kenny?
Thank you so much.
One other thing that I hope all our residents are supporting our businesses that are open for takeout only, because these people are hurting. So tomorrow, call for takeout. They'll deliver it if you can't pick it up.
Good idea.
Great, thanks, Mike. And I just want to give a shout out to two businesses that really stepped up today when I needed them to step up. We ran short of sterile gloves, and I put out a request for if anybody could tell me where locally that I could pick them up, I would go and pick them up. Two businesses, when they became aware that we needed them here, they actually brought them here. They brought a case. One business, Flory Kate's Tea Room up in the Hamlet of Carmel, Gina. She delivered a box of sterile gloves for us. And also Bernadette from Jersey Mike Subs, that's actually located up in, I think, Wappingers or Fishkill up in that area. She dropped off two boxes of sterile gloves for us here. Knowing that we needed them, they took them from their supply, which they use for their staff, their employees at their place of business, and they brought them here and donated them to the town. So thank you very much, Flory Kate, Gina from Flory Kate's Tea Room, and also Bernadette from Jersey Mike Subs. Thank you so much.
One thing I forgot to mention, Kenny, is that I've had discussions with School Superintendent DiCarlo, and as much as, it's tough for us here to run Town Hall, the directives to the school districts by the state are changing every minute. And we had a great conversation yesterday morning. He's, of course, working super, super hard and making sure that our kids, number one, are protected and that they continue with their education. He and I have continued to have conversations once a week. We have a conference call scheduled. But so as difficult as it is for us here, it's 10 times fold for the superintendent and the school board. So I've had a conversation with a few of the school board members as well, and I thank them on behalf of all the residents for what they are doing and the task that they are undergoing, which is not easy right now. So as he has information for us all, obviously we get the emails, we get the conference calls from him, but you know, just, I guess, be patient with them. They are working tirelessly with the directives that they've been given. So that's what. I didn't want to forget.
And to echo what Councilman Lombardi said earlier, we're going to get through this. This isn't permanent.
Absolutely.
This is temporary. Hopefully, we're going to get beyond this sooner than later, but we will get beyond it, and, you know, then everybody will go back to business as normal. But it's not normal right now because of the unknown and the fear and some anxieties and the anxiety levels that go along with that. But this too shall pass. And we all need to work together to get through this, and we're doing that here in the town of Carmel, and we'll get everybody through it.
And thankfully, we live in such a great community, great town and great county, that we have a lot of outdoor things that we could take advantage of if we're home with our kids or by ourselves. There's plenty of walking trails and hiking trails and lakes and reservoirs and places to go and things to do, fishing and hiking and whatnot. So take advantage of the time, get into a little exercise, and get out and get some fresh air.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Thank you. Okay, so that concludes the town board meeting for this evening. We'll be back here again next Wednesday for a town board work session.
We hope.
We hope to be here. We'll be somewhere, but we hope to be here, and we hope that the public is once again permitted to attend our meetings. But we'll have to play that day by day, and, you know, we'll see how things develop between now and next Wednesday. We'll probably be having a meeting, but whether or not you can attend it, the public can attend it or not, that remains to be seen. But let's hope that you can, and we're going to keep doing what we need to do for you, residents of the town of Carmel. Government is running. Yes.
One quick question.
Yes.
Is the public have access to our agenda for next week? Will
Yes.
they be able to write in with questions pertaining to that meeting so that we could address them at the appropriate time at the end of the meeting?
Yes.
Then?
There's a
Yes.
link on the
So we
website.
encourage you, if you have any
If they go to the
questions,
link.
you should, if you have any questions, please check the agenda. If you have
There's an
any
email
questions,
address there.
you know, and address them, and we'll address them here at the appropriate time. Thank you.
I think did Ann set it up?
Yes,
as,
she did. Ann Pascarella set up an email
Carmel Town Board?
that goes to the entire, one email goes to the entire town board for questions.
So we all get it.
Okay.
We all get that email. We can all respond individually, or
Collectively.
one of us can, collectively, or one of us can respond. Yeah,
Have an advance.
Right.
yeah. Exactly. Okay.
All right.
All right, so we don't have executive session tonight. We're going to close and head home. I need a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
So moved by
Second.
Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Shannon. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good night, everyone. Be well, be safe, use your precautions, and we'll get through this. See you next time.